Ready to go? Okay. First of all, thank all of you for coming. I've been fortunate over the last 3 years when I call these news conferences. It's usually to give you good information and tell you good things, but unfortunately today the news is not good. On Friday, July 10th, 2015, in the early afternoon, several Pocatello police officers responded to a call regarding a subject who was causing a disturbance. Additionally, it was reported that the subject might be in possession of a knife. Officers made contact with the subject, who was not cooperative, and ultimately he was taken into custody and charged with trespassing and resisting and obstructing. During this process, a Pocatello police detective exercised improper use of force, which was unreasonable considering the circumstances in which they were involved. The actions of the detective were inappropriate and wrong, and were reported to supervisors, who initially began looking into the totality of the incident shortly after it occurred. On Saturday, July 11th, 2015, I ordered both an internal and criminal investigation to be started. I requested that the Idaho State Police conduct a criminal investigation for us. On July 17th, the criminal investigation was completed and given to the Bannock County Prosecutor's Office for review. As a result of that investigation, Detective Stephen Westfall has been charged with 1 misdemeanor count of unnecessary assault by a police officer under Idaho Code 18706 and placed on administrative leave. Since this is a personnel issue and I cannot discuss it further at this time, I will tell you that the actions of Detective Westfall were wrong. Resolution for the subject involved and reconciliation with the community can't begin without me saying I'm sorry. As your police chief and a fellow member of this community, I don't think I can say that enough. I ask that you do not judge the entire Pocatello Police Department, the remaining fine men and women that work here with this department on this one incident. I know that over the past 3 years as your police chief, the members of our department have gone above and beyond the call of duty and done very many things to make a positive difference for the good of all our community. As a police department, we learn every day. I can tell you with certainty that this incident has and will continue to touch our entire police family. As the chief of police, I give you my word that as a department we'll continue to train, work hard, and make every effort to see that something like this does not happen again. Since I cannot answer any questions regarding the internal investigation because it's continuing, I'll turn the rest of the time over to Bannock County Prosecutor Steve Herzog, and he can answer your questions, I guess, regarding the criminal end of it. Thank you.
I don't have a whole lot of information to really provide you with at this point, other than to let you know, as the chief indicated, that charges have been filed. And if you want additional information about the details, I think you know how to go about filing a request for information from our office. So I'd encourage you to do that. We'll review your request, and if it's appropriate, we'll certainly provide you with additional information. But I certainly support the chief and the comments he just made, and I hope that in the end that some good comes out of this. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them if I can.
Could you spell the detective's name for us really quickly?
It's Stephen, S-T-E-V-E-N.
S-T-E-V-E-N.
Westfall, W-E-S-T-F-A-L-L.
The charge was unnecessary assault?
Yes.
What was the spelling of the last name again?
Westfall,
W-E-S-T
F-A-L-L.
F-A-L-L.
And are you able to go into any of the details of why these charges were brought? What I guess exactly constituted the unnecessary force?
Well, I'm not going to go into those details right now. And like you can file a request for that information and we'll
Okay.
review it. And if you're in the code section for that offense is 18-706, if you want to look it up.
What was the charge against Steve?
It's unnecessary assault by an officer.
Unnecessary assault. And this started with a disturbance with a male suspect that had a knife, and the police responded, and out of that incident, the detective's conduct was deemed to be inappropriate. And this incident happened in, you said July, what was the date of the original one?
10th.
July 10th, and then you started your investigation on the 11th.
No, it started the 10th.
Oh, it started the 10th,
But
okay.
we requested the internal and the criminal on the 11th.
Did other officers actually, like, turn this officer in?
There were other officers at the scene. We have use of force forms, there's all that.
So was this triggered by the other officers?
It was triggered by the use of force, the forms, and how we conduct those investigations anytime force is used.
The person, the individual with the knife, was he hospitalized or seriously injured or anything?
He was not hospitalized. He was taken to the hospital.
Okay. So treated and released, kind of?
Yes.
Was he treated for injuries caused by the officer?
I don't even know how to answer that. They had taken him to the jail, and he said he wasn't feeling well. At that point, they responded to the hospital to get clearance so he could be booked. So that came from the jail.
And then taken to the hospital.
And just a correction, he did not have a knife.
He did not have a knife?
No,
It was
suspected
reported.
Oh,
that he
okay.
may have.
That's how
He
the
did
call
not-
came
not have a knife.
to us.
Did he have any weapons on?
No.
Is he being charged with anything?
He
For
was
that?
charged, he was incarcerated for trespassing and resisting an obstruction.
Okay.
I don't know if you can answer this, but what led to the officer using, I guess, excessive force?
I don't know.
What does the investigation say then?
Well, I guess ultimately, that's a question he would have to answer.
And you know, I guess the one thing I'll throw out to you is it takes an awful long time to investigate these things, especially when we start with internal investigations. They're long and drawn out, and the internal is continuing. There are people that still need to be interviewed and talked to. There are reports that need to be done, and that case is open. As we're not going to shut you out of information. There's just certain information that we can't release at this time. So I'm not saying tomorrow, and I'm not saying the end of this week, but in time there will be more information in regards to this that comes out to you. Where we're sitting right now, we felt it was an appropriate time to get the information to the media. There is still a due process for Officer Westfall, both criminally and with the internal investigations, and we'll respect those. He's no different than anyone else.
Is he on paid administrative leave?
He is.
How long has he been an officer? He's a veteran,
I had that down 9 or 10 years, I think.
He started in 06.
And his,
06.
and his record,
06.
I think he's,
Can't discuss anything.
okay. Can you give us the name of the person who reportedly had the knife?
No.
Okay. And you said it was trespassing and resisting?
Yes.
Okay. What is Westfall charged with a felony? Is that a felony?
Misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor, okay. Do you know what the punishment is for that?
Up to 1 year and up to $5,000 fine. Anything else?
Just on, so you're saying that the forms the officers filled out, that caught their supervisor's attention, and he was like...
There are many factors, that's all I'll tell you. There were many factors in us looking into this.
Because it sounds like it started with the officers who were there, though. I mean, it sounds like they almost thought it was inappropriate what was going on.
I don't know. At this point, like I said, we still have an internal
Okay.
investigation going on, so I really can't get into that at this point.
You said you weren't commenting about and the suspect went to the hospital. You said you didn't know if the reason he went was because of injuries inflicted by the officer, or they weren't?
Well, he was checked out before going to the jail.
Okay.
I think that was the.
He actually
maybe
went
he
to the jail. They
now.
went from the scene to the jail.
Okay.
And during the booking process, they, of course, asked several questions. And he said he wasn't feeling well, and they took him to,
But it's not clear if he suffered injuries inflicted by the officer, or he just did not.
He wasn't treated,
He wasn't treated.
no.
he
Okay.
refused treatment at the hospital.
Oh, okay. What are the, as far as that charge against the officer, what's the criteria for that charge?
The elements of the offense?
Yeah.
The law enforcement officer, under the color of authority, unnecessarily uses force.
Okay.
That's basically it.
It's assaults or beats any person.
Yes.
And is this the, this is the first time I can remember any one of your officers ever being charged with a misdemeanor. I mean,
As far as I can remember,
you've been here for what, 30 years?
a little over that, yeah. As far as I remember, and this, yeah,
First such incident.
yes. Okay, we will, I mean, as time goes on, we will bring more information to you. We just want to do it the right way. We want the right things to happen. And like I said, there is due process for the officer, and we want him to have that the correct way. So, we know it's not done. We will bring that information to you. I mean, I know you have PIOs here that you can contact every day, but truly that information is going to come from the top down before it's released in this thing, and we are a few days away from completing this internal investigation. I do know that, so thank you very much.
Could this investigation result in him losing his job, or is that?
When it comes to discipline, it can go from coaching forms to termination. That's a whole realm. Okay? Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Scott.
We appreciate it.